let's break down exactly how you can get from wherever you are to being successful. I already know that with the advice I'm about to give you, a lot of people are going to say shit like, work smart, not hard. Listen, dipshit. To work smart, you need leverage, and there's 3 forms of leverage. There's, of course, money, there's media, and then there's skills. I feel like I have to get this out of the way before I say what I'm going to say, because I already know this is a rebuttal that you dumbass motherfuckers who think you know about money, you're gonna say. You can't work smart without these things, and let me explain why. If you have a large social media, that's leverage that allows you to acquire capital a lot easier. For example, Kim Kardashian, she could make $1 million today just endorsing some product, putting it on her Instagram. She still has to put in some work, but she gets paid way more for the amount of work she puts in. She still has to take the picture, make the posts, answer the emails, probably sign some contracts, but she'll be able to make a ton of money from that little bit of work because she has a huge media presence. This is why, billionaires like Elon Musk, they buy media companies, right? They buy social media companies. Jeff Bezos, he bought the Washington Post, right? Because they know the power of controlling media. So media is one way to work smart. Another one is skills. If you have a large skill set, like world class or something, for example, if you're really good at basketball, you might get drafted to the NBA, or maybe you can just play overseas. You can make a few $1 million over there. A simpler example would be my top salesperson last year. I paid him $300,000. The worst salesperson on the team worked the same exact amount of time as him. They put in the same amount of hours, but he only made $100,000. Because he had the skills, he was able to make more money with the same amount of effort. And then, of course, there's money. Money is another form of leverage that allows you to acquire capital easier and faster. I mean, I feel like that goes without saying. I don't know if I had to give you a bunch of crazy examples. If you got a bunch of money, you can start a business more easily. You can invest in stocks, real estate, things like that, and you can make money. These are the 3 forms of leverage that you need in order to work smart. You cannot work smart without one of these forms of leverage. So I'm saying all that to say, I don't want to hear none of you bitch ass motherfuckers say, hey, work smarter, not harder. You have to have these 3 things to work smart. If you don't have it, then you have to work hard. That's your only recourse. That's all that's left. Now, the real G's, like me, we working smart and hard. It's not work smarter, not harder. It's work smarter and harder. Dumb fuck. Anyway, I'm going to assume you don't have any of these forms of leverage in any substantial form. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So you don't have these. The key is to acquire them. Life is like a video game, right? Boom. Level 1, you got your man. He ain't got nothing. He just goes into the game and he starts fighting, and maybe you beat level 1, then you get to level 2. Next thing you know, you got some powers or an ability. Maybe they give you a weapon or something. That's a gun. I know you're thinking, damn, Brandon's such a great artist. I know, right? That's when we talk about skills. You beat that level and you may get another ability. Maybe you get like 2 guns or something. Oh man, now this guy's ready to go. Boom. And then you beat that level. I don't know what happens next. Maybe you get like some crazy superpower. You can like shoot fire out your ass or some shit. I don't know. But you can compete at that level. This is the video game analogy. These powers, abilities, or weapons you get at the level of video game, these are like the leverage you get in life. You start at the bottom, but you acquire skills, you acquire money, notoriety, or some form of media, and then you can deploy those at the level you're at to get more of them. That's the whole game of balling. That makes sense? You guys getting that? Cool. When it comes to balling, there's 4 levels of balling. I'm going to bring this up. This is the excerpt from the Baller Mindset course that I'm dropping for you guys for free. For free. It's 4 levels of balling. There's broke, comfortable, balling, and then balling out of control. And I want you to understand that it's the same as like this video game analogy I just gave you. Right? This motherfucker's broke. This motherfucker's comfortable, right? This motherfucker's balling. He's balling out of control. Little smiley face, because he's happy. He's happy about balling. It feels good. But he's still a G. Let's look at these levels. All right, so broke, barely surviving. Little to no money left after expenses. Not enough money in your savings to cover yourself for 6 months. Like if shit hits the fan, you're fucked. Then there's comfortable. I didn't use a picture of me in that broke shit because I never allowed myself to be broke. This is me when I was comfortable back in the early 2000s. You make twice as much as you spend. You have 6 months safety fund, making way more than you need. And if shit hits the fan, you're covered for 6 months at least. Then there's balling. This is when you first start balling. Your income from your assets cover your living expenses. Credit score is above 700. And the income from your assets cover any luxuries or increases in your living expenses. You're not balling until you're at this point where your assets cover your living expenses. And the reason we have credit score over 700 is because now you can borrow money. And remember, that's one of the forms of leverage. Then it's balling out of control. Out of control, meaning you can't stop. So the way I classify this is the income from your assets, your passive income, is greater than your maxed earned income, meaning the amount of money you can earn if you worked the maximum amount of hours. I think the maximum hours that someone can work a day is around 14, right? It's kind of harder to work more than that, you know, like at least for an extended period of time. I think 12 is about right. So even if you work fucking 12 to 14 hours every day, you still can't outpace your passive income. You gotta have a lot of money for that. That means the passive income is still growing. It's difficult to spend that much, and you're gonna keep balling, and you'll start balling exponentially, and you won't be able to stop balling, even if you wanted to. That's why it's out of control. It's not even in your hands no more. You're balling out of control. Now, most of you motherfuckers are starting here. Let's be honest. The average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account. Motherfuckers is broke as shit. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to get from broke to comfortable. I think that's a good benchmark for a lot of people to have. Just go from the broke to comfortable. And then from there, it was a lot easier to go to balling. Let's get into it. All right, so we established that you need leverage to work smart, but you ain't got no leverage. You starting here at broke. No problem. So the very first thing you're gonna do, guys, this is super important. Very first thing you're gonna do is you're going to work more. Because you don't have leverage, you do have time. So you are going to work at least 84 hours a week. 84 hours a week, at least. A lot of people start crying, I can't do this because of that, or what about this? Shut up, stupid. Everything's gonna be all right. It's not even that big of a deal. If you work 84 hours a week, this average is about 12 hours a day, and you sleep 8 hours a night, 56 hours a week, 8 hours a night, that's still good. That leaves you with 28 hours. And if you work out an hour a day, minus 7, boom, that leaves you with 21 hours to do whatever you want with. Spend time with your kids, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever you want to do. You still got time to enjoy life. Now, a lot of people get salty when I say work this much, and they start saying a bunch of stupid shit about why they can't do it. But I did this. It was in 2008 during the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And I have a college degree from a good school, Howard University, and I could not get a job. I remember walking into TGI Fridays, last resort. I was like, man, maybe they'll give me a job. I'm walking with a suit. I got a resume and shit. I've worked in restaurants before, and I tried to get a job. The manager there, a little homosexual dude. I don't say that to be derogatory towards homosexuals. It just makes the story funnier when I do his impersonation. He was like, we don't just hire our waiters off the street. And I was like, there's a motherfucker walking around. A motherfucker walked by me with a fitted cap on. It looked like he came from Jamaica, Queens, because this was in Queens. And I was like, it looks like this motherfucker came straight off the street. So I couldn't even get a job at TGI Fridays. So what I do, man, I said, fuck it. I started waking up at like 4:30, train people in the gym, shower at the gym, then take the train from Harlem to Soho, where I worked at the Prada store as a security guard for 8 hours. Then after that, I worked for a moving company. I did that 5 days a week. On the weekends, I woke up early, and then I managed a restaurant. It was my boy's restaurant. I couldn't get the job at Fridays, but my boy, he opened a barbecue restaurant in Queens on a Steinway Street, and I was able to work for him as a weekend manager, and I was working like 12 hours a day. And here's the thing, I was making over 6 figures, and I was able to save up enough money where now I have what? Leverage. I have some money that I could deploy against my goals. You know, I stacked up bread, and this was during the recession. So a lot of times when I tell the story, people say, don't work that hard, just go to college and get a good job or something like that. I went to college, I couldn't get a good job. That's not a guarantee. And even if you go to college, you should still do this. And let me explain why. Because you can stack up money. Even if you get a fucking 6-figure job paying you 40 hours a week, you should still work another 40 hours. And a lot of people saying, you can't do that. You can't do that. Motherfucker, I did that. And check this out. This guy was talking shit in a YouTube comment when I recommended this. And he said, rich people don't do that. Ask Hormozi. He didn't know that me and Hormozi are boys. Like, we've worked on projects together. I've known him for years. Here's a video of his wife talking about how she works fucking 98 hours a week. You got a fucking 28-year-old girl doing this shit, making you look crazy. And in this video, Hormozi's talking about how much he works. And the reason it's important for me to highlight Hormozi, one, because he's made a lot of money, he's popular, but sometimes people don't seem to believe me unless a white man says it. So I just want to show some white people doing it. For whatever reason in your brain, I feel like that adds a lot of validity. They don't argue me once they see some white people say, oh, some white guy said it. All right. They're not white, they're actually Iranian. But saying they're white makes the joke funnier. Okay, another reason people say don't work hard. Oh, you can't work that hard. They said you can't make that much money, even working a menial job. Word, dumbass. You heard all the shit I had to do to make the money. Uber wasn't out yet. Here's an article, bam, local Uber driver, 100K a year, driving Uber 84 hours a week. Oh, what about the gas and the wear and tear on your car and all that shit? Guess what, dumbass? You can write that off. Every business has expenses, you bitch ass. If you want to argue for your own limitations, guess what? You get to keep them. I'm not trying to sell you shit. I'm just trying to sell you on working hard. I don't know when hard work became a bad thing. It used to be admirable. There was a time where men prided themselves on working hard. People would look at hardworking men. That's a hardworking brother. People have just gotten so soft. You're gonna work 84 hours a week. You really should be making at least 6 figures if you do that. What if I got 12 kids or I live in fucking Mesopotamia? Yeah, if you live in some shit country, it's gonna be harder. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be difficult. You should still work as hard as you can. I'm just telling you to work hard. Someone may have some advantages that you don't have. You may live in some shitty ass fucking country. You can still work as hard as you can because you gotta get yourself out of poverty. And because you don't have leverage, the only way to do that is to use time. You can't work smart if you don't have one of the 3 forms of leverage. But if you do this and you save half the money, it's important. At level 1, you work 84 hours a week, boom. Then you save half the money. Now you got some leverage. If all you did was this, you can make a bunch of money. Check this out. I'm gonna break out the compound interest calculator. You should be able to save, let's call it $4,000 a month. That's $50,000. Should be able to make 6 figures if you work 84 hours a week. Matter of fact, I know you can because the average American works less than 40 hours. You know, it's around like 38. That's like the national average according to the Department of Labor. So if you're working 84, you should be able to make twice as much. You save half of it, $50,000. Let's just say simple investment. You invested $4,000 a month in the stock market, 20 years. Say you're 20 years old. You do this for 20 years. The average return for the stock market, average. You're not doing nothing sexy. You're not part of the Victory Unit Discord. You ain't learned how to really get crazy returns. You're just doing regular shit. Index fund. Boom. You do that for 20 years. Yo, man, in 20 years, you got $2 million. If all you did was that. Literally anyone can do that. Anyone can do this. This is the least sexy way to do it, but you can be a millionaire. And in fact, it'll only take you 12 years to get $1 million. If you're 20 years old, you start doing this shit now. By the time you're 32, you could be a millionaire. By the time you're my age, you'd be a multi-millionaire. All you got to do is just work. But that's only if you use this form of leverage, money. Let's say you're going to save this half. But when I say save, I really mean you're not just going to keep it in your savings account. You're going to invest it. So either in the stock market, like I said, or whatever, real estate, or you invest it in like learning some skills, learning how to build a business, learning sales, going to college. I don't care what you do. You invest in some sort of skills that allows you to make more money during this time. For example, like I said, my top sales guy, the homie Brian, made $300,000 last year. I paid him $300,000 last year. The worst sales guy on the team, he's still good, but he's just the worst out of my elite team of badasses. And he's the newest too, right? He made $100,000, but they worked the same amount of time. They put the same amount of hours in, but Brian made more because of the skills. So it makes a lot of sense to invest in something that's going to help you build the skill set. And I don't care what it is. Buy courses, join masterminds, go back to college. I don't give a fuck what you do. Learn a trade, anything till you can get your hourly rate up so you're making more during that time. Now you really start multiplying your money. And we're not going to really focus on the media part because that's kind of beyond the scope of anything I can really teach you. All you really need to do is focus on building up your money and your skill sets. That alone will get you here to the next level of balling where you're comfortable. Anybody can do this, but you got to be willing to work hard. I hear people say shit like, oh man, what about enjoying life? Oh, I'm just going to enjoy life, man. I want to enjoy life. Listen, when they say that, they're talking about recreation. They're talking about parties and bullshit like that, right? Recreation is not the only way to enjoy life. Some of us find joy in pushing ourselves. Some of us find joy in seeing what we're made of. You guys think enjoying life is seeing how little you can do, how much you can get away with. You're really talking about hedonism. What you call enjoying life, parties, casual sex, doing drugs, going on vacations. Here's the thing, you can only do that shit sometimes. It's hedonism. You can't do it all the time. But if you fall in love with pushing yourself, seeing how much you're made of, really trying to fulfill your potential. You can enjoy life every day. See, the people who say, oh, you gotta enjoy life, and they're talking about hedonism, what they don't understand is I enjoy life more than them because they can only enjoy life sparingly. They can't do that shit they're talking about every day, but I can push myself every day. I can wake up and go hard, leave it all on the field every day. And I'm just as happy doing that as they are getting high on vacation. But it's a different type of joy. It's fulfillment. Knowing that I'm setting up my son's future. Knowing that I'm actually creating products and services that help people. Knowing that I'm actually doing good. Oh, it's not all about money. Hey, dumbass, you can't make money. People have to give it to you, and they only give it to you for what? Something they find valuable, dumbass. So to make money, you have to give value. But that hedonistic, oh, enjoy life, that's not helping nobody but you. Motherfuckers who say that shit don't even realize that they're being selfish. And us hustlers are actually out here doing good, providing value in exchange for currency. Because that's the only way you can get paid, you dumb fucks. Y'all don't hear me though. It's cool, man. You ain't gotta work hard. Nah, my fault, man. Working hard's not admirable. I was tripping, trying to work hard, secure my future, and sacrifice for my goals. You motherfuckers gonna be my age and have nothing but a bunch of funny stories to tell. One more thing, people say, what about see my kids? I won't be able to see my kids. Look, dumbass, kids got shit to do. From grade school to high school, kids need about 10 hours of sleep a night. And they have school. Then they have homework, after school programs, sports, and their own friends. They don't want to be with your goofy ass 80 hours a week, man. And they couldn't because they got shit to do. You're going to spend some time with your kids every week. That's cool, man. But they got shit to do. Kids are in school, man. I'm not telling you to neglect anybody. In fact, you still got mad hours left. Even if you get 8 hours of sleep a night, even if you work out every day. If you do this, you still got 21 hours. Spend all that time with your kids. People always say, what about showering, shaving? And I don't know who the fuck is showering and shaving, using the bathroom 20 hours a week. If that's you, you need to see a doctor, either a medical doctor or a fucking therapist, because you got some issues that are beyond the scope of this video. Kids got shit to do. Unless, of course, you are so fucking poor that you can't afford to send your kids to after school programs. Oh, you know what? I forgot. You motherfuckers are poor. So you couldn't fucking send your kids to have tutors like I did. Oh, my fault, y'all. You're right. You know what I'm saying? You can't send your kids to the best schools like I did. Oh, that's right. My fault. Your kids might have shit to do because they can't wait to leave the fucking public school you sent them to. You know what I'm saying? Dodging bullets on the way home and shit. I had to go through metal detectors in middle school. My son will never know nothing about that because I did this, because I did the shit I'm telling you. Your kids don't want to be on a bus with you, dumbass. You know what I'm saying? My son ain't gonna know nothing but fucking first class seats and private planes. I know that much. You know what I'm saying? He don't know nothing about but private school and anything he wants. He ain't never heard, I can't afford it. He might hear no, I don't feel like it, but he don't never hear I can't afford it. How am I gonna look myself in the fucking mirror and tell a fucking child, oh, I can't afford it. I wanted to enjoy life. That's why you can't get braces. Yeah, I know the kids is making fun of you. I know no girls like you, but you gotta settle for that the way I settle for your mom. That's why you look like that. If that's the life you want, I'm sorry for wasting your time. But if you want to actually reach your potential and see what you're fucking made of, it starts with effort. And anyone who speaks negatively against effort is a bitch.